Hey kids, I'm back with another video. The last video I did was on the PMAS cold air. If you haven't caught that one, check it out if you're in the market for a cold air intake. I promise I go over all the mods that I did to this so far. They're all basic bolt-ons, no supercharger. That's not in the budget right now, especially during this COVID-19. See, I got the COVID-19 quarantine beard going on. So just a recap, I'll show you the PMAS real quick. I'm not going to go over the specs on it. Well, yeah, it's 120 millimeter. It's the largest diameter intake available for the S550 Mustang. And so here's the PMAS, as you can see. So that's, and I also have a BAMA tune, which I have no complaints. It works pretty well. And I have the a throttle body spacer, because I was having issues with this kind of sputtering once in a while, throwing some codes, and the throttle body spacer seemed to help smooth out the airflow. All right, I'm gonna close the hood and go over my other mods. Okay, and another mod that I got, the 2016 Mustangs had turn signals in the hood vents. So I installed those aftermarket. You can see there's still this particular, I think it's called Sparky or Sparks or something. They don't cover up the whole vent. There's another brand out there that covers the whole vent, and to me it's like, what's the point of having a hood vent if it's going to be covered and not let any air out? So these are pretty good. They cover half it. I'll show you what they look like. They're pretty easy. You just kind of wire them to your battery. Hold on here. All right. So, and when you're driving, you can only see the driver's side, but it still looks cool at night. Passenger can see the passenger side. So that's that. The turn signals in the hood vent. All right. Let me turn off the this. All right. So far, I'm just going over to cosmetics. Yeah, like I said, if you're gonna go with turn signals in the hood vent, I recommend trying to find ones that don't fill up the whole hood vent. I know there are little hood vents in this model, the 15 through 17. I think the 18 on up have bigger vents, but you can't put turn signals in those. They would look kind of goofy. So I recommend getting these that don't block the whole vent, so you get some breathing. Okay, another mod. These are fake hood pins. I took a little screw and I drilled I kind of hooked these up underneath. So everyone thinks they're real, but they're fake. They're stick-on. But hey, I'm not going to drill holes in the hood. It's totally cosmetic. And of course, there's the stripe package. Sorry, it's kind of against the wall there. I got the Hurst. Yeah, this looks more like a Hurst rent-a-car package. I probably should have put the Hurst, but I couldn't find any Hurst decals. So I like Hurst. So I found some Hurst decals that I stuck on there. And to the untrained eye, everyone's like, oh, it's a special edition Hurst, and it's really not. It's just a GT. If you have a wing, it's really tricky to do the stripes. But, you can see I kind of screwed up a little bit. And then in the back, Hurst. Yeah. Oh, I have a vanity tag too, but all right. What else? Oh, and I got these window louvers, the Eleanor louvers, I guess you call them. Now, these are made by Cervini, and I paid I dropped like 400 bucks on these things because I bought my car new, and I bought these as soon as they came out. Of course, now you can get like MMD for like 100 bucks painted, I think. So, and it took Cervini's like months to make these. or to get them to me. They said they had to make them a mold and all, but I mean, they're good quality. And I also put the blackout panels behind it. So that's the louvers. I like them. I like the S197s better because they're larger. These are kind of like, they don't stick out. They don't stick out too far. All right, so let's go on to the interior. Okay, you can see yeah, of course I got my mask if I go shopping here. Now, I'm gonna talk about the shifter. Okay. When I first bought this car, the shifter was kind of sloppy. There was a lot of play in it. Some people really like the M82. I haven't had any complaints. Of course, the newer Mustangs, I think they have aluminum shift forks, and this one has, I think, steel shift forks. So, you know, if I had a new one, I would have probably snapped the shift fork by now because there's been times where I missed shifts. But what I did was, here, let me show you the shifter. I kept the stock shift knob because I like how it feels. I don't like the big balls. I like being able to grip it like this or like this. Basically, I bought, in order to install an aftermarket shifter in these newer models, the S550s, you got to drop the whole drive shaft out. It's like a pain in the ass. So I just got a shifter bracket and bushing from STEEDA that's a lot stiffer than the stock. And then I put there's like a rubber transmission mount bushing you can put in. I'm not going to go underneath the car and try to show you that stuff, but you go underneath the car and everything goes under here. You don't got to drop the drive shaft, right? But you can see it doesn't have as much play for those of you that have a stock shifter. And it just really, I was missing like sometimes first or second. Occasionally I still do, but it's a lot cleaner going into the gears. Just by paying, I think that shift bracket with the rubber mount, I think that was like $70 something. I mean, and then the transmission mount, the transmission bushing, it goes under there. If you Google the transmission bushing, I think that part was less than 20 bucks. So the combination of all of it, it just gives it a really good feel. And it takes, to me, it took all the slop out. So that's that. Okay, on a side note, this still has the Sync 2. Whoops. I don't want to start it yet because I got the garage door closed. I'll end up killing here. All right. This still has a Sync 2. And I like the Sync 2 because you can put pictures in the background. See, I got Darth Vader there. The Sync 3 is great. It's a lot quicker. I may end up one day getting it aftermarket, but they want like over $2,000 for a kit. But this one you can load pictures and it's got a nice black background. I just think it looks better, but I understand it's real laggy. If I hit a button, it like takes a while, as you can see. But anyway, that's a side note. And I also got this dash cam. It's called a Cross Tour. I got it on Amazon. I don't know if it's gonna turn on. Anyway, it's wired to my fuse box. You can buy like a little a kit for the fuse box for like 20 bucks on Amazon to wire it there. And this is front and rear, so it's pretty cool. Oh, let me all right. So that's that part. Okay, now, whoops. Okay, I got some suspension work that you can't see some of it. Well, on this one, it's not the performance pack. It's a GT. It's a premium. It's got all leather and stuff. So I ended up buying the performance pack sway bars front and rear from someone on the internet because they replaced theirs. So it's got the performance pack sway bars and the toe links, the performance pack toe links in the rear. And I also put I also put vertical links in the back. Now, I don't think I'm gonna be able to show you these vertical links. I can try, let's see here. Nah, but anyway. Sorry about that. I recommend vertical links because they really help stop the hop a little bit, and they help it stick. And you can get vertical links between 100 and 200 bucks, I think, depending on the quality. Also, I got an 1.5 inch wheel spacer in the back. Just makes the back tires stick out. See, the front, I didn't put any spacers on. For my calipers, I ended up using engine paint. And because I couldn't find gold in the aftermarket, it's like everyone's into this red, and I was like, I don't know, I'm not a fan of the red calipers, and I think gold looks better with my setup. So, but then I kind of learned, because I painted calipers on another Mustang using real caliper paint, and it was red, and that caliper paint held up really good. This caliper paint is starting to peel. So I kind of learned, I guess, if you're going to paint your calipers, use caliper paint if you want it to last long, because it holds up better in the heat. And I think with the road, with the dirt and grime on the road, the engine paint, it's holding up okay, but there's a couple issues where it's starting to peel and things like that. So what else did I modify on this? I kept the stock, I'm going to talk about another thing. Hold on. I got to pop the hood for it. Intake. Of course, this is just the intake cover. I've been doing a lot of research on driving styles and intake manifolds. I kept the stock manifolds, what I meant to say. And there's an Alexander Flores. He's really awesome. If you don't know who he is, I recommend checking his channel out. He compared all the intakes, the 15 intake manifold against the 18 intake manifold. A lot of guys are putting the 18 on here against the GT350 and the Cobra Jet. And if you're doing daily driving and you're not redlining it out to 7,200 RPM all the time, the stock manifold actually works the best as far as low end torque. I mean, it starts to drop off on this. I think after 6 grand, I mean, it just drops off with some torque and horsepower. But the way I drive, daily driving, I mean, I'm just going from stoplight to stoplight, or maybe some highway driving. This manifold, you know, it has a lot of torque down low. The GT350 manifold, it's decent, but you got to really wind that thing out to get its benefit. I mean, maybe if this was a track car, if I took it around the oval track all the time, I'd go to GT350 route. Now the 18 manifold's like the best of both worlds. So I mean, that's pretty good too, but it's kind of, I don't think it's worth it for me to get that, because I'm not going to be winding it out. With my tune, I set the RPM red line to 7,200, and I've actually hit it a couple times with this, and it runs pretty good, plenty of low end torque. But yeah, it does drop off after, I think, 6,200 RPM or so. It starts to drop off. But if you're gonna just use your Mustang as a daily commuter and not be redlining it to 7 grand all the time, then the stock manifold performs pretty well for daily commuting. Oh, and also, you can see my hood pins with the little rope thing. This is how I got it to stay. I put some screws in there. So that's that. Okay, last but not least, I also put on this, hold on, this gas cap. Let me turn it. You know, I replaced the stock gas cap with this one. I forget, this wasn't too expensive. It's all plastic, but I got it from LMR and late model restoration. And those guys they're pretty awesome, because the first one I ordered had a scratch in it, and they sent me another one out, no questions asked. So that was nice of them. And my last mod I'll show is this, the Varex exhaust, which I did a video on. So there's one side. It's not quad tip, because this is a 2015 Mustang. And I didn't feel like replacing this and trying to get a quad tip. And also about the Varex. Now, I was shopping around for active exhaust, and then I see Roush has an axle back. This sounds amazing, and it's active exhaust. And I think with that, you got to wire a button inside of your car. It's a little bit more involved to install, and it's an axle back, and it's like over $2,000. And I was thinking, and then I found this Varex, and it's not as loud as a Roush, but I had a Flowmaster Outlaw set up before this, and it was just way too much drone and way too loud. And California came out with some new noise laws this year. Go figure. So I wanted to get something that I can control the volume. So I got the Varex, and it's a cat back. I think it's 302 stainless, real shiny underneath. With the Varex, there's like, you remove your trunk lining and you fish the wire through a hole back there. And then I kind of wired mine in here. I'll just jump in there. And here is, where's it at? Oh, here's the box, right? And this plugs and it fishes back into the mufflers in the back. So, and it comes with this key fob here, and A closes it and B opens it, and I'll just show you. And I did a review. I already did a review on this, so you can check that out. Shoot, I hardly have any videos up, so it won't be hard to find. All right, so when you turn on the ignition, all right. All right, that's fine. So I'll press A. Oh, it's already closed. I'll show you what it looks like closed. So you got to be like right on top of the box. All right. I don't understand that beep. Sometimes it sounds cheap. Sometimes it sounds good. Okay, so can you see that? Maybe not. All right. Where's my flashlight? Here it is. All right. All right, so. All right, so the Varex with the valve closed. See? You can see it closed. And there's like a little hole in there. I guess it goes through the muffler. And it does, honestly, with the valve closed, it does feel like it's restrictive. It feels like it's pulling some power, but it makes it quiet. So, all right, so I'm gonna open it. Come on. All right, let me put the garage all the way up. Okay, I have neighbors right behind me, so I didn't want to rev it out too loud. So, but yeah, that's the Varex. My only complaint on the Varex is it kind of, after a while, it started getting some rattles in it, mainly on a cold start. It's like clanging noises, and I tightened down all the bolts, and it still does it. So I don't know what that's about, but other than that, I think for the price, the Varex is pretty good. If you want something louder, a lot of people just buy I think they just sell the mufflers without the mid pipe, or without the mid muffler in it. But if you want it louder, you can always, I guess, cut out the mid muffler and put on an H pipe or an X pipe without a mid muffler. But the quality is so good and it's so pretty underneath. Let me see if I can get the camera under there. Gotta find my flashlight again. Hold on. All right, I should probably have this on a lift, but anyway, try to get you to. Oh, of course, it's kind of dirty now. Hold on here. I can see that, but there's the mid muffler section there. So that kind of makes it a little quiet, but it's got a really deep tone. Yeah, and it's dirty. It's no longer shiny. But check it out. They have it on American Muscle. And Varex also has their own website, but it looks really pretty when you first get it. So anyway, so that's all the modifications I did to this. You know, it runs really well, naturally aspirated. But yeah, eventually I want to supercharge it. I'm not sure what kit I'm looking at. Only because I would love to have turbos on it, but superchargers are, for me, because I'd be doing it myself, supercharger would be much easier install. And these, a lot of people are all about the Brembo brakes, and Brembos are awesome. You know, 6 pistons, but these have massive, the stock GTs and also the EcoBoost premiums, I think, or the EcoBoost performance packs, they have these big 4 pistons, and I think stops on a dime, and I think they last longer than the Brembos. So that's something to consider, I guess, if you're looking. But, you know, like I said, if you're going to track it, maybe you want Brembos. But yeah, these are pretty massive just for the stock brakes, and I got no complaints. So, but there she is. This is Egret, but that's my mods. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. The hardest mod by far is the stripes. Maybe I just don't have it down. I see some people putting the stripes on dry without wetting things. I wet them and it took forever to get the air bubbles out and to line things up. So, I mean, it took me a whole day to do them stripes and get them lined up. So, not this. This was easy, but the actual stripes. So that's by far the hardest mod. Mainly, these little pieces are actually the hardest. The big pieces, they go on pretty simple, but then once you start cutting and getting things lined up, it gets pretty tough. So, you know, if you're not about that, then I recommend, if you get stripes, to take it somewhere and have someone put them on. So I forgot to mention, I don't have any lowering springs. I kept the stock springs on this. And they're not the performance pack springs either. I prefer the stock springs because they ride nice and soft, and I use this as my daily commuter. So, I mean, this thing on a highway, it just rides so smooth. Now, like I said, if I was tracking this, I would definitely consider getting a set of lowering springs. And this actually doesn't look too, maybe because I got 20-inch wheels, I don't know, and not 19s. It doesn't look like there's too large of a gap in there. So, but yeah, I may eventually get a set of springs, but I'm running the stock springs, and they're pretty comfortable for long road trips, you know, and things like that. So if you pick one of these up and you're worried about comfort, you know, I like the stock springs on this one, so far. All right, guys, well, I apologize for the quality of this. I'm just, you know, shooting with an iPhone and a flashlight still. Eventually I'll get a GoPro and go for a drive, and things will be more exciting, I guess. So, but I hope you're all staying healthy and safe, and you know, oh, let me show you my little garage wall collection. Yeah, I'm all about the Mustang, right? So I got the garage fanfare. Oh yeah, I forgot I had the calendar. I'm still in January there. back before the COVID, that's when things were good, right? And then, the Hot Wheels, they're all Mustangs. If I'm in the store, oh, except for that, that's a 4 GT. But if I'm in the store and I see one I don't have, that's a Mustang, I'll pick it up. Yeah, I still play with toys, right? Nah, but yeah, so that's fun. So like I said, stay healthy, and my next mod, hopefully it's a supercharger, and once I get that, I'll definitely share that. Maybe I'll try to do an install video on it. All right, take care.